On behalf of the Canadian Chamber, our Board of Directors, our members, and our entire network, thank you all for being part of our Canada 360 Economic Summit. We hope that you enjoy the day, which will start with a welcome to the heart of Upper Canada from the Honourable Doug Ford, the Premier of the Province of Ontario. I believe Premier Ford is about ready to come into the room. Good. Mr. Premier, Ontario is the economic powerhouse that creates opportunities for all of Canada and drives the Canadian economy. And since coming to office, you've put a priority on ensuring that Ontario is a place that's attractive for investment and that encourages people to want to come to this province and to build and to create something for the future. We are honored to have you here today. And Mr. Premier, the floor is yours.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for the very kind introduction, Perrin, and thank you for the warm welcome. And Perrin, when I was looking at all your background, 21 years in politics, that's amazing. I don't know, you got to talk to my buddy, the finance minister, Rod Phillips over there, and best finance minister we've ever had. He's doing an incredible job, and he really is. My friends, on behalf of the Government of Ontario, welcome to our great province. I'm thrilled to be here today to share some really exciting news about Ontario's economic strategy. Because I always say what's good for Ontario is good for Canada. My friends, Ontario is the economic engine of Canada. And let me elaborate on what I mean by that. We've created the environment for 296,000 jobs in a little over a year. And I always say we create the environment because government doesn't create jobs, and if we do, we're all in trouble if government starts creating more jobs. But we create the environment for companies to thrive and prosper. And if you think of it, 76% of every single job created here in Canada last year was here in Ontario. So I'm so proud of it, and I'm so proud of the great job our finance minister is doing and our whole team. I always call them the team of all-stars. We're at the crossroads of trade from all over the world here in Ontario, including our largest trading partner, the United States. In fact, we do and this always amazes me, we do $390 billion of two-way trade with the United States. We're the #1 trading partner, as I say, #1 customer to 19 states. We're the #2 trading partner to 9 other states. And if Ontario was a standalone country, matter of fact, Rod, I shouldn't say that actually after last election, but if we were a standalone country, we would be America's 3rd largest trading partner. And when we have an opportunity to go down there, I always promote that. And then people don't realize it in the U.S., the amount of trade that we do. We're fortunate to be home to 5 of the world's major auto manufacturers. Our auto supply chains are highly integrated with our neighbors to the south. If you think of it, you hear about the trade going back and forth, an auto part can cross the border as many as 8 times before making it to the end of the production line. And that's why keeping our trade ties strong is a key priority for our government. Keeping the relationship strong is vital for the 1 in 5 Canadians and the 9 million American jobs that depend on our two-way trade each and every day. I was pleased to hear that President Trump signed the final approval for the new NAFTA yesterday. That was great. Now we have to make sure the final approval of this new agreement will provide much needed certainty to Ontario and Canadian businesses. That's why I support the federal government's push to ratify the new agreement in Parliament as soon as possible. And I'm calling on all the federal parties, Let's not get into this political game when there's jobs at risk here, to do the same to protect Ontario and Canadian jobs and businesses. This is about keeping our country together, keeping it stronger, and when we're united, no one can compete against us. Standing up for Ontario and Canadian businesses and workers, and making sure our historic ties with our neighbour to the south will stay strong for generations to come. Next Friday, I'm looking forward to heading down to Washington, D.C. with Minister Fedeli for the National Governors Association winter meeting. We're going to be meeting with a number of governors, state officials, and business leaders. And my friends, when I went down there for the last couple governors' meetings, and you get asked, why are you going down? Make no mistake about it. I'm a business person first, elected official second. I believe in building relationships, and we've built some incredible relationships with U.S. governors. And I don't look at their political stripe. I don't care if they're Republican or Democrat. We have great relationships with so many governors, and making sure that we get the message out. Get the message out, invest here in Ontario. We have the brightest, the smartest people anywhere in the world right here in Ontario. It's the best place to expand, to create jobs, and the quality of life. There's no place anywhere, as far as I'm concerned, in the world that has better quality of life than right here in Ontario. We're continuing many of the productive discussions we've started over the past year to remove trade barriers and to promote investment and economic opportunity. And today I'm excited to share with this room, we'll be unveiling Ontario's government's new U.S. trade strategy at the meeting. We're in talks with the state of Ohio to move forward with a new groundbreaking approach to trade with the U.S. partners. We're looking to improve market access and procurement opportunities for Ontario and Ohio businesses. It's an approach that will enable us to address the challenges we face with the damaging, and I repeat that, damaging Buy American policies. You know, when I'm down there, I'm preaching that constantly. It's terrible about Buy American. But we, folks, once we roll this out, we have a way of possibly getting around this Buy American policy. We can't afford to stand back and wait. We're taking action because Buy American policies are hurting Ontario businesses and workers. We've been working with the federal government to ensure Canada is exempt from Buy American provisions at the federal level. And now we're working on a Made in Ontario solution that enables us to stand up for Ontario workers and businesses. For Ontario job creators, Ohio represents about $2.5 billion in procurement opportunities. And likewise, you know, we look at the United States and the states that, oh, they're big and powerful. Make no mistake about it. We are a massive, massive economic machine in North America right here in Ontario. We're looking at $2.5 billion of government procurement. That dwarfs, we dwarf that by $144 billion. Think of that. We're investing $144 billion into infrastructure. And I know countries from all over the world want access to bid on that $144 billion over the next 10 years into infrastructure. This is about making it easier for people on both sides of the border to do business with each other. And our government will continue to advance this groundbreaking approach with key partners in the coming months. And we will work together to strengthen our economic ties and expand opportunities for businesses to grow and create jobs. Because our U.S. partners represent an incredible opportunity for Ontario's strengths. Thanks to the work of our government, we've already taken a number of steps to build on that success. And now we have a plan, a new trade strategy to tap into these new opportunities. And that's not all, my friends. This is the first time this is going to happen as well. From April 21st to April 23rd, we'll be welcoming a delegation of state governors right here in Toronto. led by my friend, Maryland Governor Larry Hogan, the chair of the National Governors Association. I was down visiting Larry, and just an incredible governor, but more importantly, an incredible person. This infrastructure study tour is a great opportunity for Ontario, where our #1 customer and trade partner is coming to us. We will showcase to the United States governors that come up here what an incredible province we have. My friends, Ontario has so much going for it. This province has always been the place in Canada where ambitious people like each and every one of you, can make your mark. My message to all of you is to keep growing and investing here, or if you haven't yet, you should start investing. Because as Premier, you have my word. We're building a future with more success, more wealth, more opportunity, the likes of which this province has never seen before. We are sharing the future of Canada's economy right here in the greatest province in this country, Ontario. Thank you for joining us today. Enjoy the rest of the day, and God bless each and every one of you. Thank you.